better every day. Remember context, Shedeur. Many thought he'd be a first-round pick. He wasn't. Not a second, not a third, not a fourth. But in the fifth round, the Cleveland Browns, who had already drafted a quarterback in the third round, seemingly made the mind-blowing decision of drafting Shedeur Sanders. They said it was great value at that position in the draft. Well, we didn't think Shedeur was going to get all that many reps after all. He's a fifth-round pick. He's the fourth on the depth chart. The coaches, they came out and said it was going to be an open competition. Again, that's mind-blowing. Why in the world is a fifth-round quarterback, fourth on the depth chart, going to be openly competing with the pick you traded for in Kenny Pickett or a Super Bowl champ in Joe Flacco? But that's what the coaches said nonetheless.
You're not going to believe this. While Kenny Pickett was supposed to be the reliable veteran presence at OTAs, completing just 38 of 63 passes, some rookie fifth-rounder came in and casually went 41 of 53 with 9 touchdowns. And get this, it didn't even look like he was breaking a sweat. But here's the kicker, this isn't just about stats. This is about a front office that might have accidentally landed the steal of the decade. While they're proven, QBs are quietly falling apart behind closed doors. And now, all of a sudden, coaches are rethinking who should actually be running with the first team. I've been around this league a long time, and I know what panic looks like when it starts to seep in. And right now, keep speaking in, here's a whole lot of unease brewing in that quarterback room. Because what we're seeing here, this isn't just a feel-good underdog story. This is a full-blown unraveling of everything the Browns thought they knew about their quarterback depth chart. Let me spell it out for you. You've got Joe Flacco. Yeah, the Joe Flacco, the Super Bowl MVP, the guy they brought in to be the Rock. He's out there completing just 18 of 35 passes with a measly 2 touchdowns. That's the kind of completion percentage that gets you benched at a mid-major college, never mind the NFL. Then there's Kenny Pickett. Remember him, first rounder who flamed out in Pittsburgh. Cleveland thought they were pulling a fast one trading for him. He's put up 38 for 63, trying desperately to convince folks he's still got some juice left. It's not convincing. And then, this is where it gets really interesting. You've got this rookie kid out of Colorado, 5th round pick, walked into camp as QB4 on the depth chart, and now, he's running Stefanski's offense like he's been in the system for 5 years. Here's what the media won't tell you when a guy like James Jones, former NFL player, respected voice, comes out and says his expectations for Shedeur Sanders have completely changed. That's not just lip service. That's a seasoned pro flat out admitting he was dead wrong.
Since he got drafted, they have changed. Because when he got drafted, I stood up here and I believed you're a 5th rounder. They drafted a 3rd rounder. They traded for a 1st round quarterback. They signed a veteran quarterback. I'm like, he's going to have an uphill battle to even make this team because I didn't think that he was even going to have the reps.
You want to hear something wild? This is the same guy, the exact same guy, who just a few weeks ago didn't think Shedeur Sanders would even make the team. Now, he's saying to kid shows out in preseason, he needs to start week 1. Let that sink in. We're talking about a 5th round rookie possibly jumping over 3 quarterbacks on the depth chart before ever taking a single snap in the NFL. When does that ever happen? When's the last time you saw a late round pick stir up this much noise before the preseason games even kick off? But hang on, it gets better, way better. Once you peek behind the curtain and look at the politics going on behind closed doors, AJ Hawk, who, by the way, knows firsthand what it's like to be underestimated, just dropped a truth bomb about what's really happening here. See, when you're a 5th round pick, you don't get the same chances as the guys taken ahead of you. That's just how the NFL works. The higher the pick, the more leeway you get. It's not fair. It's business. The now Kevin Stefanski is out here talking about an open competition. 4 quarterbacks battling it out for the starting role. Let me tell you what that really means. They've seen something in practice that's making them question everything they thought they knew. Because let's be honest, if this were truly about draft status, Sanders would be buried on the scout team, running gimmick plays and hoping for a shot at the practice squad. Instead, he's getting real reps with the 2s. He's zipping passes into tight windows, saying he's making throws that are making veteran coaches stop in their tracks and say, "Wait, who just threw that?" And here's where the story gets downright juicy. People around the league are starting to call out the spin, the behind-the-scenes maneuvering, the politics, the BS. Even Jerry Jones, say what you want about him, didn't hide his interest in Sanders during the draft. And let's be honest, everyone knew Dallas wasn't going to land him. But that interest, that wasn't just noise. There's a shift happening, and if you're not paying attention to what's going down in Berea, you might just miss one of the biggest quarterback shakeups in recent memory.
Just to start
and stop messing around with this thing.
And lie really quick. Lied to is when somebody like is proven in front of you. Like Jerry Jones didn't lie to you. You knew he wasn't coming in there to start over Dak. You know what I'm
The
saying?
Titans lied to us, for sure.
The Steelers did too.
The Titans lied to
The
us.
Saints did too.
Whether we know it or not, they lied to us. You feel me?
Well,
like
we
if
all
you know
knew
your
from
son
the-
was out doing what he was doing, but no, Daddy, I was studying. It don't mean you don't know.
They've been saying
He's
Cam
still
Ward #1 pick the whole.
not there.
You know, we've seen some wild storylines come out of the NFL offseason before, but this one might just be the most fascinating quarterback situation we've seen in years. Let's talk about Shedeur Sanders. Now look, I'm not saying he's taking Dak Prescott's job. Dak's still the guy in Dallas. But remember how some teams, like the Titans, the Saints, put on this little show during the draft. They had us all believing they were seriously eyeing Sanders early. They talked the talk, had the media running with it, and then, boom, they went in completely different directions. Total smokescreen. And now here we are, watching Kevin Stefanski potentially doing the same dance in Cleveland. He's out here talking about a four-man quarterback competition like it's some open battle royale. But let me ask you this, how open can a competition be when the one guy not getting first team reps in OTAs is Shedeur Sanders? Something doesn't add up. So either this so-called competition is a charade, or the coaching staff is quietly prepping for a massive shift when training camp rolls around. And let me tell you what's got these veterans really sweating. Because it's not just that Sanders is completing passes. It's how he's doing it. We're talking about pinpoint throws into tight NFL windows, sideline lasers, reads with perfect timing and anticipation. These aren't gimmicky dump-offs or busted coverage freebies. These are the kind of throws that take precision, guts, and football IQ that usually takes years to develop. And when you see a rookie, a fifth-round rookie, no less, making those throws consistently in practice, you better believe some guys on that depth chart are hearing the alarm bells. Let's be real about Joe Flacco for a second. He was brought in as the vet, the guy who knows the system and can be the steady hand. But 18 for 35 in shorts and a t-shirt, that's not steady, that's shaky. That's the kind of stat line that gets you benched in college, let alone in the NFL. And Kenny Pickett, sure, he had one decent day, 8 for 11, but take a step back. Across all reps, he's sitting at 38 for 63. That's not a starting quarterback stat line. That's a guy playing tight, watching a rookie behind him steal the show, and doing it like it's second nature. Now, here's the twist nobody's talking about enough, the Caitlin Clark comparison. Why are people linking Sanders to Clark? Because both walked into situations where they weren't supposed to be the headline, and within weeks, they became the story. The Browns haven't been in the national quarterback conversation in years. Suddenly, every day it's, what's going on in Cleveland's QB room? That doesn't just happen by accident. Let's crunch some numbers. Sanders went 41 for 53 with 9 touchdowns. That's not just good, it's elite. And here's the kicker. He's doing that without the starting receivers or the first team offensive line. No Amari Cooper, no Jerry Jeudy, just backup wideouts and second string linemen. And he's still lighting it up. Dylan Gabriel, a third rounder, went 48 for 83. That's a 57.8% completion rate in practice where there's no live pass rush and everyone knows the routes ahead of time. Sanders, he's sitting at a clean 77.4%. That tells me when real pressure comes, the gap between Sanders and the rest, it's only going to get wider. So let's address the elephant in the room. What happens if Sanders balls out in the preseason? Right now, everyone's trying to temper expectations. The coaches, the front office, they're slow rolling this, hoping to avoid a full-on quarterback circus. But what happens when this kid steps on the field under the lights and starts making plays that have fans on their feet? What happens when those practice numbers show up on the game tape? Cleveland hasn't had consistent quarterback play in decades. They've been cycling through retreats, projects, and flat-out busts for years, and now they might have stumbled into a franchise quarterback in the 5th round while they're shelling out big money to guys who can't complete 60% of their passes in a walkthrough. Here's what's really happening. The coaching staff is walking a tightrope. They're trying to manage egos. They're trying to show respect to veterans who were brought in with promises. But every day Sanders steps onto that field, he's making it harder and harder to keep him on the bottom of the depth chart. Because here's the truth, talent doesn't lie. You can't fake tight window throws. You can't fake fast reads and on-time delivery. And you definitely keep speaking at the kind of calm, under-pressure presence that Sanders is showing, especially as the rookie, the guy with everything to prove. And then there's this comment from Deuce Staley, the running backs coach. He says, "They're in pajamas right now. I'll tell you what I think once the pads go on." If I'm Flacco or Pickett, that would terrify me, because if Sanders is out there making these kinds of throws in pajamas, what's he gonna look like in full pads with contact, left defenses, and game day intensity? Let's not ignore the mental side of this either. Sanders is operating under pressure that Flacco and Pickett aren't. He's the fourth guy on the chart. Every rep he gets matters more. Every throw is an audition, and instead of cracking under that spotlight, he's thriving in it. You can't coach that. That's not something you learn in a film room. That's something you either have or you don't. And time is ticking fast. Training camps around the corner. Then it's preseason games. Then the real thing. If Sanders is going to have a shot at truly competing, he needs first team reps. Not in August when it's too late, but now. He needs to build chemistry with starters. He needs to keep speaking his mind on game scenarios. And the fact that he hasn't gotten those reps yet, that tells me this coaching staff is either dragging their feet or they're afraid of what happens when the kid really takes off. But here's the thing about talent. It has a way of forcing your hand. So what does this mean for Flacco and Pickett? It means the pressure's on. Pickett's already been shown the door once. He knows how this ends. He's out here trying to prove he belongs, while Sanders keeps making him look like just another guy in a helmet. And Flacco, he's a Super Bowl champ, no doubt. But every missed throw in practice is a reminder that Father Time doesn't lose. Now he's got a 22-year-old putting up numbers that make him look old. So here's the bottom line. If Sanders keeps this up, if he keeps stacking accurate throws, leading drives, showing command, the Browns are going to be forced to make a call. It's going to happen sooner than they expected. Because when a late round pick starts flashing franchise-level tools, the whole building starts asking, why wasn't this guy drafted higher? How did we get this lucky? And most importantly, when can we get him on the field? That comparison to Dak Prescott's rookie year. It's not just lazy analyst filler. Dak was never supposed to start. Then Romo got hurt. Dak stepped in, and the rest history. The difference here, Sanders isn't just outshining journeyman backups. He's outperforming guys who were brought in specifically to compete for the starting job. That changes everything. So as we head into training camp, here's what I'm watching. Does Sanders finally get those first team reps? Because if he does, and he keeps balling, this conversation is going to go from, will he make the team, to, when does he take over as the starter? And if I'm Kenny Pickett or Joe Flacco, that would keep me up at night. Because a fifth-round rookie is out here making you look average, and he's not even sweating yet. This is exactly what the Browns needed, not another aging vet or recycled starter, but a young QB with real upside. Talent, composure, swagger. The question isn't whether Sanders can play. The question is when do the Browns have the guts to start their best guy, no matter where he was drafted. Because if they don't, if they sit him just to play the politics game, that might be the biggest mistake this franchise has made in years. But something tells me this kid's too good to keep buried for long. The countdown to training camp starts now, and I cannot wait to see the look on Pickett's face when Shedeur starts taking those first team snaps. What do you think? Is Sanders about to pull off the biggest quarterback upset of the 2025 season? Drop your take in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe. This QB battle, it's just getting started.